You're listening to the A.K.A. Real Talk Podcast, Episode 3. We are your hosts,
Arda.
Han.
and Al, and our topic that we'll be discussing today is productivity, whether that be work, school, or personal business.
No cap. This is the first episode we have cameras on. So
Yes,
it's
dude.
kind of crazy,
We
bro.
we can finally see each other. We can actually have visual clues, so we have a better understanding of who wants to talk.
For sure. And now you get to
Arda.
see us. It's kind of crazy.
Yep. Arda, what is the quote of the day?
The quote of the day is productivity is less about what you do with your time and more so about what you run in your mind. I'm gonna let Al start with that one because I got to think about it.
So right here, you said productivity is less about what you do with your time and more about what you do, how you run your mind. Because I feel that you can do a bunch of things throughout the day, but they're kind of useless. They're not really going to help you out become a better version of yourself, or you're not actually getting stuff done. So you have a better future.
I think what it brought to my mind really was you do a lot of like day-to-day tasks,
Mhm.
but most of the time it's like on autopilot, whether that's getting brushing your teeth, going to work or school. These things just come naturally to go on autopilot. But with productivity, you just have the ability to just focus and actually like pay attention to something for long periods of time.
So you mean like discipline?
Yeah, actually like focusing, like actually, but
Mhm.
instead of just going on autopilot and just pretending to do something or just going through the motions throughout your day. That's cool.
What about you, Con?
Yep. Um, so with this quote, right, it's like I agree with what Arda said. It's more of like you productivity gets done when you're actually like in the sense of when you're paying attention. There's a difference, right? So you could, like Arda said, you do stuff when you're not paying attention, right? Like
Unconsciously. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And then there's stuff that you can do, while you're paying attention and like how you actually improve yourself, and that would be productivity. That's my view.
See, yeah, yeah. Productivity is something that I mean, people have done research on, especially recently, when it comes to the social media age and stuff, and how young kids have a shorter attention span than most of the older adults
It
that
is bad.
don't use social media. Yeah. But yeah, we did discuss that in the second episode. Where yeah,
So
goldfish has
the effects of social media and how our attention span is shorter than goldfish. Goldfish being 9 seconds, ours being 8 seconds.
sure. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's kind of a problem. Like and also like many people are being diagnosed with ADHD
Mhm.
and just having short attention spans, whether you were diagnosed or not. People are just having shorter attention spans, not being able to focus, um, and I think it's really due to distraction. Really, you take out your phone, you got dopamine right on your phone instead of having to do work and stuff.
Yeah, and that's
And
what really ruins a lot of our productivity because we have so much distractions today. When we're doing homework, which should only take about an hour, right? We're just casually doing our homework. All of a sudden, hey, look, I got a Snapchat, I got an Instagram, I got a check, scroll, and then you're scrolling, and then you don't realize that it's been 30 minutes, and I said, oh, I need to get back to my work, and it's been an hour 30 already.
hacks, bro. Literally, people use their phone for around like 7 to 9 hours a day, which is kind of crazy. Like, why?
That's a third of your day.
That's literally your whole day,
As we
plus
discussed,
whatever you gotta do.
what was it? We're slave to our technology. Previous
Yeah.
episode.
And then people talk about like how they never have enough time to do anything in their lives. It's because you're wasting it on just scrolling on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. You're wasting too much time. You're putting too much time on something that's not even real, bro. Or manipulated. Literally, the internet's manipulated, so you're spending too much time on that. And yeah, I think it's just hardwired in our brain through uh, kind of like any addiction. It starts off when you first ever touched a smartphone or electronic device where you're like, oh my god, this is so cool. Oh my, so much information on here. And then people eventually just abuse it because they have so much things. Um, and then you see like back then, how was it back then?
Well, we didn't have smartphones till 2007 when Apple revealed the iPhone. So, I mean, in that short amount of time, 2007 is 2021. So, let's do the math. That's 14 years.
Yeah.
14 years with devices, and look at how much has changed our lives already. Even even the older generation is addicted to phones.
Yep.
Probably
For sure.
mostly not actually probably mostly addicted to watching TV because TV's been around for a while.
Yeah.
And it's just a way to pass time, a way to forget the problems in your life, mm, a way to see, oh dang, he's living such a good life, you know. Maybe I should try to get there. Or most of the time they just complain, why am I not there? And
Oh my
that
god.
complaining just leads to less productivity. Just goes down
Hey,
and
be
down
real with me.
and down.
Sports. Dad's talking about sports.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, that guy sucks, bro. That could be up there.
I mean, yeah, I mean, you do try to trash talk professionals, but they're professionals for a reason, and there's only 400 NBA players for a reason. Even the worst one is better than a college basketball player. Also, uh, a lot of people, or not a lot of people, but a couple are overachievers. You know, they don't know how to take breaks, and they feel as if the only way to get to their goal is to keep constantly working. And what they don't realize, if they don't take breaks, if they don't get the required amount of sleep, food, hydration, and not overall taking care of their emotional and physical well-being, that their productivity is just gonna go down. They think if they
100%.
they think if they keep working, that will make them satisfied in the end, saying, "Oh, I did all this hard work and it was worth it in the end."
Yeah.
But then,
That's
how's their physical and emotional state after that? Go ahead, Arda.
yeah. That's literally called hustle culture, which it's been around for recently basically.
Quite a bit of time, yeah.
Where people are like, no sleep, don't get any sleep, don't eat, don't drink any food in the morning. Just go after it. Wake up 4 in the morning, just grind your heart out with whatever you want to do. But that's literally gonna lead to burnout so quickly
Yeah.
that there's no point. Okay, so you get a bunch of work done, and then 2 weeks in, you're gonna be burnt out. You're not gonna be able to do anything because productivity. That's why you need to keep a balanced schedule, and also don't look at your phone in the morning and just scroll through social media.
Yes, sir.
I'm not listening to you, by the way. Just so.
No, that's really the worst thing you could do to yourself in the morning is right when you wake up, check your phone, check social media, check whatever, Snap, Insta. It's the worst thing you can do because if you do that in the first 5 minutes, you're gonna get addicted and hooked, and then you put your phone down and realize it's been an hour, and said, "Oh, maybe I'll scroll for a couple more minutes," and then you put your phone down again and realize it's been 2 hours, and then the entire day, just because you did that for that first 5 minutes, that you're gonna feel lazy. You're you're not gonna want to do anything. Your body's not gonna be in it. When if you go exercise or do workouts, everything your body just feels shut down, and you're not at 100%.
Yeah, it affects your dopamine because you're waking up and you're getting the straight feel good chemicals from just scrolling, getting the excitement from scrolling. But you literally just woke up, so anything else you do in the day is gonna feel much harder to do because you're not gonna want to go out there, do work, do homework, do a workout. You're gonna be too lazy to do that because it feels better to go on your phone. That's why you can't really give yourself like. That's why you gotta start with like the hard stuff in the morning,
Mm.
and you could rest at the end of the day. You gotta really have that delayed satisfaction when it comes to controlling your cell phone use and social media use for sure.
Yeah, it's just self-control and consistency on a daily basis to establish a good daily routine. which is something that it's a lot of people need to do, including myself. You need to establish a consistent day-to-day routine that, like you said, you wake up, you feel energized, and you actually feel ready to attack the day and get stuff done. Whereas you're not just, sitting there and scrolling on TikTok. And yeah, like you said, that was actually perfect. It's better to just, scroll at the end of the day when your day is done, when you're rested. But like when you're doing that, don't stay up for hours at the end
Yeah.
of the day scrolling. Like, just go to sleep, right? But,
Mm.
you know, it's just self-discipline.
Really, the main thing, the number one thing that will keep your productivity through the roof is sleep, sleep, sleep,
Sleep.
sleep. Oh my gosh, you can. Arda and I were discussing this when a couple days back, but it's not
And we
really
did
about.
experiment on it a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not really about how what time you sleep and how well it actually is, but I mean is if you sleep around let's say 2 and get 10 hours of sleep so you wake up 12, you're waking up with almost half the day already over and you're
Not
not
to
going to
mention
feel
you're
good.
hella drowsy, bruh. You're gonna feel hella drowsy throughout
Ex-
the day.
exactly. So it really depends on the time that you sleep and you wake up. So if you sleep at 10, wake up at 8, that's 10 hours of sleep. That's a lot of sleep. You'll be waking up more energized than ever.
Yeah, for sure.
It really
And
depends on
you
the
shouldn't,
time.
yeah, and you shouldn't just, if you're sleeping at 2 though, you shouldn't just sleep at 10 because that's gonna completely mess your entire body up. You got to go slowly and adjust
Yeah.
to it. So
For
you
sure.
got to build that routine over time.
Yeah, like just like yeah, when you have like blue lights around you, then yeah, it's gonna be hard to fall asleep. You gotta kind of find the best time to sleep is always like with your own security and rhythm. You gotta try it out yourself. Like stay away from at night. Stay away from social media and stuff. No electronics at all. Try that. For me, my personal circadian rhythm is 7 o'clock, and then wake up at like 5 in the morning. That's my natural like. That's when I should be waking up and sleeping. Not the case though, because we live in this kind of world. But
COVID,
yeah, and
pandemic.
COVID, good, and we're bored at home. That is so. But yeah, it's about more so about the time rather than how long you sleep, because you're gonna feel more refreshed in the morning, like actually in the morning, versus waking up at noon, and then yeah,
That's
But
true.
that doesn't but
That's
that
true.
doesn't mean like that doesn't mean go to sleep at, let's say, 11 and wake up at 4. You're not going to feel as refreshed as you were if you were to wake up at 7. So, yeah,
four
while
is pretty early.
Yeah, yeah.
while yes, like the time is probably more important, it's also you need like hours of sleep too, because the thing is, while you're sleeping, your brain has like different phases, right?
Hmm.
So you have a light sleep at first, and then you go through a deep sleep, and then that's when you really get your energy during that. Like, I believe it's like a 2 to 3 hour period. Don't quote me on that. I'm not a doctor, but that's when you get your best sleep right there, and that's what
Yeah,
you need.
REM sleep is important right there. Um, yeah, that's why you gotta have a good sleep schedule. Not only waking up early, but also sleeping early. That's what
Yeah.
people don't think about too much. Sleeping early, you really need to do that because that's how you're gonna make up for the time and how tired you're gonna feel in the morning. Uh, Waking up early, you're gonna feel less drowsy, but you're also gonna be just tired throughout the day. Like at the end of the day, you're just gonna be tired. Really gotta get that good sleep early, early at night for
Besides
sure.
the hours, it's also the sleep quality. What type of environment are you sleeping in? Is the bed you're sleeping in comfortable? Um, is the temperature in the room a bit too warm, too cold, or is it just right? So a lot of factors, but so hours and the quality of sleep.
Are there devices near you? Are all the
Exactly.
lights turned off?
Hmm.
A bunch of things.
Uh, so I actually did research on this previously. I believe that the perfect sleeping temperature is actually around between 69 and 72 degrees,
69,
which is
72.
making sure your room is actually cool. Your body just sleeps better when it's a cooler environment. Um, that's just how you. sleep. Just
You want to cool
biological.
down. You know, your
Mhm.
body's been at work the entire day. Your muscles are warm. Your brain, you know, you use that a lot. The mental toll on your brain, and you want all your body parts to cool down, reset, recharge.
Mhm.
You really need that for sure. And again, it all these like reason we're talking about like sleep and stuff, and all these other factors, they play a huge role in your productivity, which is why you don't do extreme sleep schedule like wake up 4 in the morning. Some people it works, but you really gotta sleep early for that, and you're gonna be losing sleep for most people. But yeah, once you got that energy, you gotta make sure you're not distracted throughout the day
Mm-hmm.
with your phone. You're not looking at it every 5 minutes just to check a notification. Um, you're actually what I like to do is the Pomodoro method when I'm studying, where it's around 25 to 30 minute block where you do full focus studying. You take a 5 minute break, not 5 minutes of on your phone, but like 5 minutes of just cooling down, and then get back to it. That's like 25 5, 25 5. Go throughout your day, and then your studying becomes more efficient because you're taking small short breaks throughout the whole thing. Um,
So
that's my preferred study method.
Good.
so sleep. That's the number one productivity killer right there.
That's true.
Number
And also
two,
mental health.
mental health. But number two, distractions. So that's basically going back to the phones, the devices, anything, because you can be in the moment, just doing whatever work you're doing, and then you get a notification, you check your phone, oh, text message, whatever. And on average, what I researched just right now, it takes 23 to 30 minutes for you to be able to refocus after a small distraction.
Yeah.
It takes you
I
that
mean,
long just to get all the brain power necessary to complete the task at hand.
yeah, I
23 to
really
30
see
minutes.
like productivity is more like a momentum. Like you start off,
Mm-hmm.
you start off light, and you're going like a little bit, starting off, and then once you're like around like 30 minutes to an hour in, you're really like focused on your work. So you really can't afford distraction because you're just gonna have to reset that whole process. Because once you're in that flow state, your productivity is immaculate. Like you're doing what you need to, and not only just how much work you do, but also the quality of work just substantially goes up.
You can
Notice
see
how?
it like a steam locomotive, a train, as a metaphor, because trains, they carry miles worth of cargo, miles and miles worth of cargo. And what happens at the start? They're moving super slow, super slow. But then give it a little bit of time, give it a little time, and then it's going to be on its way.
Yep.
Just keep that momentum all the way throughout the journey, and then it'll
Accelerating, getting better.
arrive, arrive there.
For
It's
sure.
it's
But
up to the person.
a little rock or a twig on the railroad, boom.
Okay, I don't think a rock or a twig is stopping a locomotive, but you know what? Sure. Nah, I get
Whatever.
the I
Yeah,
get
you
the
get what I
metaphor.
mean, though.
But
A
Yeah, I
for
get
little
what you
momentum,
some.
no one's
Yeah.
gonna stop your momentum once you're just really in it 100%. No one can really stop you.
Theoretically, yeah, a small distraction really gonna throw you off
Hmm.
for sure. And it's gonna take more time to get back into it.
Oh,
Um,
better metaphor. Boiling water. Boiling water. It
yeah,
You can put the heat all the way up, and it takes so long for water to boil. It takes so long. But once it gets that momentum, it's gonna keep going. But if in that process of boiling the water, you put ice in it, it's gonna stop boiling. It's gonna it was like
yeah.
almost there, but then you put ice in it, the distraction, and then it went all the way back down. And then the process has to start back so you can focus again, 100% of your energy. So I
Yeah,
think that would have been a better metaphor than the locomotive.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Distractions are a big part of it, but another thing is, a thing that goes just as important with sleep, right?
Hmm.
Honestly, I feel like you got to be. It's like you got to like get some energy, right? So you got to having a big breakfast. I don't know about you guys. Do you guys eat breakfast?
I do.
You
I for
do.
sure do. Yeah.
That's good.
I'm
Nice. Yeah.
surprised. Hold your thought right there. I'm surprised that a lot of kids, our generation, just do not eat breakfast.
everybody's saying don't eat breakfast. Breakfast is bad for you.
It's
You're gonna burn
bad.
more calories if you eat breakfast. And doing all this intermittent fasting shit, it's just about
It's
food,
not
man.
healthy. I mean, fasting's good up to a certain point, but I mean, for your well-being and for you to be able to optimally function throughout the day, it's not gonna help if you fast and starve yourself.
When it comes, yeah, food is food is key right here because
Yeah.
you really can't be eating any high sugars because you're gonna feel that you eat that sugar, you're gonna feel energetic at first, kind of like think about like cocaine. You know what I'm saying? Like you feel energetic at first and then you crash. I see sugar and cocaine at the same thing. That's my kind of
Yeah,
view
because
of it.
in my health class, what is it? Cocaine. They did a test, cocaine versus sugar, and they tested it on lab rats, and the sugar was 5 times more addictive than cocaine. But that's a whole other subject. That's a whole other subject. We can get into that
Yeah, for sure.
sometime else.
But yeah, just
Let's
broadly
focus.
speaking,
We're losing our momentum.
no. We're good. We're good.
We're good.
Because food is actually an important topic because
Yeah.
the healthier the food you eat, I mean, your brain is gonna just function better. Like eating fruits and vegetables, you're really gonna have that mental clarity that you really need to push through. That's true. Uh, yeah. And
Breakfast is
then
the most.
yeah, also yeah, breakfast. Like I said, breakfast.
Healthy,
You
healthy
need you
breakfast.
healthy breakfast. You really gotta start healthy. Eating cereal in the morning is not gonna help you.
I mean, it is a way to just get power kind of quickly. Not and getting fruits from the store for some people, for a lot of people, actually is very expensive because the junk food is so cheap.
That is true.
But eating healthy, you know, usually I eat a bagel in the morning with cream cheese, but I also have blueberries. I also have prunes that I like to snack on. I'm somewhat of a healthy eater, I should say. I do like to snack on a lot of fruits. So
Hmm.
I would say
That is
that.
true.
And that
That's good.
improves my feeling throughout the day because I didn't eat anything sweet in the morning or super sweet, such as junk food. Um, Not saying that cereal is all bad because you can eat granola. Granola is pretty
Yeah,
good.
it's true. Yeah, that's literally what I ate this morning: granola yogurt, and then boom, gives you energy throughout the day. Um, just eating and like I said, throughout the day, you gotta eat throughout the day. You can't like if you're fasting and stuff, like you're gonna, you might actually do it. You're not gonna be eating, let's say, 16 hours a day. You have like 8 hour eating fast,
Hmm.
eating window, but you're just gonna overeat. It's gonna cause overeating. That's the thing about long term fasting and stuff. You really gotta just eat balanced throughout the day. Um, yeah,
What did,
comes
let's
to
see.
productivity.
Yeah,
Brain.
breakfast is the most important thing. But another thing
It's
that's
important.
just as important to keep your body going is water. You need to be drinking your water. You have to stay hydrated. You can't be dehydrated because if you're dehydrated, then you're just gonna feel out of it. You're gonna feel like you're not mentally there fully, and it just gives your body energy. You got to fuel your body for your body to produce. You feel me?
Mm.
Yeah. What is it? I'm doing it here. Okay, I was right. Human body is made up of 60% water. 60% water.
60%.
And I think the brain's even made up of more. Let's see. How much water does your brain have? Let's see. Chemistry.
It
The
is pretty
brain and
watery.
heart is composed of 73%. 73. So
Yep.
if you're dehydrated, you're not going to be thinking properly. Your entire bodily functions won't work properly. So you're just it's a simple thing. Don't be dehydrated. Keep a water
Well,
bottle with you
yeah,
throughout the day, or at least have some sort of access
that's
near you that you have water.
water.
It's very important for
Uh,
your productivity.
yeah, that's true. I mean, for some, water is kind of hard to get, but really gotta. And people have to like walk miles just to get water. It's kind of crazy.
That yeah, but especially here in America, I'm surprised people are getting dehydrated. What?
But if you're just like if it's like not your fault, you're just forgetting to drink water, bro. Just grab yourself a glass right now.
Yeah, put it right
Pause
next
the
to you.
podcast.
Put it right next to you.
Pause the podcast right now. Go get water, and then come back.
Exactly.
For sure. Yeah.
What else? Let's see.
Uh,
Setting deadlines. That's very important
yeah.
for because
Yeah.
you don't want to be going over. You want to discipline yourself so then you would set aside enough time and energy for if you need to start the next project or you're gonna go take a nap and then continue doing the project. So basically, managing your time management. Okay,
Time management is important. Yeah.
as we discussed earlier, your number two productivity killer is the people who just keep going and going and going.
Hmm.
You have to set deadlines throughout the day. If you're working on a project the entire day, set aside some time for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and set aside some time for break times. You know, your brain can't be working 100% the entire day.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
have you have to let it relax. Go ahead.
It's a lot like uh just irrational thoughts, especially like when it comes to like the topic of procrastination. Like, uh, procrastination happens because you're tired. You have built up tired and laziness because if you just procrastinate so much, then you're like, okay, I'll do this whole project tomorrow. I will just leave it off for later.
Mm.
Problem is, are you really gonna do that whole like project or goal in one day? You're gonna hold it off for one day. Like, is that possible? Because you're also a human. You gotta actually eat food, get some good sleep, and actually wake up in the morning to do whatever you need to do. Which is why you gotta go when you're trying to get through a goal or a task. You can't leave it off till the last minute,
Yeah.
and uh, the quality of work is just gonna plummet a lot. The most quality and the easiest kind of work is going a little bit every day.
That's why setting deadlines and setting goals for something like, let's say, a project, right, for
Mm-hmm.
school. That's why setting those things are so important because it helps you keep like a multi-stage project. Helps you keep it on track, right? You get to knock it out. You're much more consistent, and like Artis said, the quality of your work just skyrockets because you're actually getting stuff done on time, and you actually have more time to focus on the other complex parts of the project. It helps you break it down and helps you, set different expectations of yourself.
It really it's really the only hardest part about keeping a consistent schedule, or splitting up time chunks every out of your day to complete a task. It's really easy. Really, I think about it. Okay, let's say you're working on a project. Work on it for like an hour a day, 30 minutes hour a day. Um, it's not a lot of time. You definitely have that time, especially once you get off your phone and actually do the work. You give yourself a time chunk. Um, it's really easy. Just give yourself a time chunk to do something, and then uh, the hardest part is being consistent. You got to be consistent with your goals and stuff like that.
Yeah, because a lot of
Very
people,
very underrated.
yeah, a
Very
lot of people
underrated.
lose their drive to continue doing their goals just because they don't manage their time well, saying, I don't have time for this, I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
Let's see. What is another? Let's see. Another killer for productivity. Multitasking.
Multitasking.
Multitasking. as we said earlier, takes 23 to 30 minutes for you to refocus because you lose your momentum, as we said through the boiling water metaphor.
It's gonna take a while for you to refocus. And yeah, multitasking. As much as you want it to work, it doesn't work sometimes.
Yeah. I actually have a stat right here, real quick.
What is it?
Y'all
Yeah.
Um, but research has shown that our brains are not nearly as good at handling multiple tasks as we like to think they are. In fact, some research suggests that multitasking can actually reduce productivity by as much as 40%, which is just, that's a lot. I mean, like you said,
Sense.
the boiling water is just, the momentum just stops completely when you're focusing on different tasks at the same time.
Because we humans can't physically do two cognitive tasks at once. Two tasks. I mean, we could we could probably cognitive meaning we need to take in the information and use the information. We can't take in two sets or even multiple sets of information at once and try to use it and apply it to several different things at once. We can't physically do that. Uh,
Yeah,
I wouldn't.
because you're
So I wouldn't call it multitasking. I would call it switching tasks, rapidly
Mhm.
switching tasks.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Yeah, you're not. People are confused just multitasking, rather than just shifting your attention to different things. Whether yeah, you're listening to distracting music while you're trying to
Do homework.
get some work done, homework done, because we're students right here. You know what I mean? Uh, that's a problem sometimes. Where you're how you use a distraction as a way to say, hey, this is I'm just multitasking.
Yeah.
People
So
confuse
Yeah.
that.
And even if you can pull it off, sorry,
yeah. Go ahead.
uh,
You're a
it's
superhuman.
yeah, yeah. But like the thing is, even with like the way that like the brain works when you're multitasking, think about it this way: if you're working on one task, your brain is focused 100% on that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what happens when you're focused on two things? Obviously, you're
50-50
not
or whatever.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So you're not going to be as focused, and the quality of your work is not going to be as good.
Or
If
it's not, or it's 99.1%,
Yeah, yeah.
which is
either way.
yeah.
My parents have always told me, "Hey Al, you gotta learn how to multitask." And I mean, you hear that a lot. You hear
What do you
you
mean by that?
Yeah, yeah. What do you mean? Because now the new information is we cannot physically do two cognitive tasks at once. So what do you mean by multitasking? I know it's a very old phrase that people still use a lot, multitasking. But I think that phrase just kind of has to die down because we're not multitasking. We're switching. Oh, I got to do
You're
this.
sit-
I got to do this. That's what your brain's really telling you. It's, oh, I got to do this, got to do this. What it's not as simple as just saying you're doing multiple tasks at once because we physically cannot do that. So hopefully that
Perfect.
phrase
Yeah.
that term gets changed
Yeah. For
sometime
sure.
within the next 10, 20 years, who knows.
Mm. And yeah, switching very quickly too. Yeah, you're not gonna be able to focus as
Mm-mm.
easily. Yeah,
No.
okay. Um, I'm looking at this document right here. Okay. Let me focus on this. Okay. Now let me just actually talk here. Make sure I'm speaking on this podcast. Yeah. It doesn't work. Yeah.
Personal
Uh,
Yeah.
experience. My personal experience when we're recording YouTube videos and trying to commentate at the exact same time, trying to focus on the game is so tough. So I admire those people who are able to do that. Mostly how I see it is the entertaining YouTubers, the ones that are really having fun of the game. They're not that great, but they're super entertaining. They could do that commentary very well. But the people who are actually like super good world champions at their specific game, you know, they're in the moment. That's all they're focused
in
on.
a moment. Yeah.
And I heard it also affects your memory too. When you're multitasking,
Tell me about
you
it.
might remember like less things than you were to if you're just focusing on
Oh,
one thing, right? Because
100%.
yeah, yeah, it's just because you have a lower like attention
Mm-hmm.
uh when you're focusing on two things. Like your attention ability is completely deteriorated when you're multitasking. Maybe it's not even two things. Maybe some people are trying to do three or four things at the same time, which is just ridiculous, first of all. But like when you're focused on one thing, your brain retains the information much better. That's why, especially when you're like studying or for like school, everybody knows that.
Yeah.
When you're just studying and focused and you're in the zone, your brain can retain so much more information. Whereas when you're multitasking, like your brain just doesn't remember as much. It can't get as much information soaked in.
That's unless you're doing Adderall or taking drugs. But
Yeah, but that
not realistic at all. It's not
but
realistic.
then it's just gonna be worse at the end. You know,
Yeah.
it's not gonna make you any better. And what is it? After I've been hearing this over the past couple of years, but after 72 hours of learning something, 100% of it or 95% of it's gone. So that's the thing. Our memory's not that great, and we need repetition to remember what we learned that day. So yeah.
I think
That's
it's
why
like
the
let's say you have like a lecture or something.
Hmm.
You're listening to a teacher or something. You really only remember like realistically 20% of what they say, and then the rest just goes out the window. Um, even though you hear something, doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna remember it. Which is why you gotta take notes. And yeah, you gotta use your resources to your advantage. When it comes to productivity, it's literally just making it easier for you to do work. Like it's not necessarily doing the hardest work, um, hardest work best. It's making that hard work more digestible, being able to make it easier to do. That's the best way to do so.
Because you hear that saying, goes in one ear, goes out the other. You know, that's really how I feel is my experience in school, especially this last year. COVID, it's been, oh, they just give us information, we write it down. The only way we remember it is if we look back at the notes, and then even if we look back at the notes, we'll still forget it again. So productivity, sleep, less distractions, managing time. That's those are the main things. Those are the main things right there.
Thing is, when you sleep, your brain removes about 95 to 98% of what you learned, right? So you only remember. That's why sometimes you just can't, like, for example, you can't remember what you ate for breakfast the other day. Well, obviously when you think about it, you're going to remember, but like your brain just gets rid of it because it's not like that important. Your brain only retains what you think is like most important. So when you're sleeping, which is why sleep is important, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you're sleeping, your brain removes a lot of what you actually retain. So like Arda said, if you retain 20% of the lecture, well, maybe after you sleep, you only have 2% of the lecture or 5% of the lecture or however much it is. Point
That's
is,
almost nothing after 1 month. Like,
yeah, exactly.
not even
It's
joking.
almost gone completely.
And
Just like,
I know this was our first episode thing, but how do they expect us to learn? How does the education system
I mean,
expect us
this
to
past year for sure, they
nothing?
went from actual school like hands-on experience,
Mm-hmm.
at least for some part, not the most part, but some part, um, to here get a, here's an assignment online, get
Do
that
it.
done, turn it in,
Just do it.
get a grade for it. Just
Oh,
do an assignment. That's the definition of high school during COVID. Like it's kind of and on that topic, I want to talk about motivation and productivity
mm-hmm.
and how that works because motivation is not going to be sustainable, especially during I think we could all relate that we lost motivation doing the kind of schoolwork we did throughout the past year, just online. We're kind of like it doesn't feel good to just sit there and just do the same work for a whole year.
Yeah. And it promotes laziness and cheating, really. I mean, let's be honest, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It it just it people just feel like the works like they're just not motivated, like Artis said, and they feel as if, it's like why am I doing this? So why do I have to do this instead of, wanting to do it, actually wanting to succeed? Because
Mm-hmm.
the thing is, when your productivity goes down, you get lazy. And when you get lazy, there's people, you might ask your friends for the answers or you might end up cheating. And that's just as little of information as your brain already retained. You're not learning anything like at all when that
And,
happens.
and when your motivation is low to be productive, you're not gonna do go above and beyond in whatever you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like this past year, I'd say for the most part, my whole life I've been a good student, actually going above and beyond and actually getting the best grade possible. Now, literally, I'm just going through the motions, trying to pass my classes, and literally, I don't even care about like the classes anymore. I just there to get my grade and leave. Like, that's the problem with the education system in America. It's like, do you want to focus on your grade or do you want to focus on actually learning this
Learning.
material?
Mm-hmm. That's the difference between motivation and determination, because a lot of people need need motivation to be able to continue doing what they're doing.
But it's not sustainable.
But but the most successful people in the world had to be determined. They weren't motivated by anyone else to be able to get where they were. So
Like, yeah,
and that's kind of a rare type of mindset, to be actually determined to succeed, because a lot of people, they want the attention to be able to continue, and want the reassurance that someone is there to support them through their journey, when they don't realize when you grow up, become an adult, It's just you. It's just you.
It's you. No one's gonna tell you what to do. I mean, your future is based off of you.
Got to take care of
And like I
yourself.
keep preaching on TikTok, discipline and determination
Hmm.
go hand in hand. That's what you got to use. You got to use your mental um you got to use mental strength for and yeah, you got to just use mental strength because discipline is the most effective way to complete a goal or task and be consistent. Motivation, you're gonna feel motivated for a month, and then the next month you're just gonna feel
You're gonna die.
horrible, and you don't want to do anything. But then you just kind of you get ruined. Like in the topic of like working out and stuff, you feel like let's say in the new year you're like, okay, I'm gonna start working out. I'm gonna start working out next year. I'm gonna be jacked.
Hmm.
Um, I want to get some bigger arms. I want to look good. 2 weeks in, you're doing great. You're doing great. You're on your goals. You're doing amazing. And then you just have that one day you're just feeling not so good, feeling tired.
Hmm.
You skip, and then that momentum of skipping, you're out.
If you can, during that one day though, if you're not feeling in it, but you just force yourself into the gym, then that's discipline right there. Because even if you don't feel like doing it, but you told yourself 2 weeks ago, even a month ago, saying, I want to get jacked. I want to be stronger. I want to look stronger. I want to improve my physique. If you're able to get through those couple of days where you just don't feel like doing it, then that's discipline right there. That's a really strong mindset for success in the future.
Yeah. And doctors say that exercise is it's I mean, there's no other way around it. It's literally like the most important thing you can do for yourself. It's
Exercise,
it
Yep.
just reduces stress, it helps you be
everything.
more motivated. And that's why I feel as though sports, right?
Mm-hmm.
And extracurricular like activities in school are actually like really important because it helps reduce anxiety and stress and it helps keep like students more productive like
Mm-hmm.
from like a day-to-day basis. That's why I feel as though with the absence of sports like last year or there were some sports I'm pretty sure that were still going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
A
But
little bit, but yeah.
yeah,
No.
it's not like regular. Like, all those clubs and stuff,
Yeah.
those weren't there.
Mm,
So those all helped, students, perform better in school because it helped them, stay motivated, help them stay focused on, something they actually wanted to do and that they enjoyed to do.
yeah, sports are like a for me it was like an outlet
Mm-hmm.
for me to like I go to school, then after school I go to practice, I alleviate some of the stress I had throughout the day. Um, because of that, it really caused like anxiety, depression for me when I stopped playing basketball for sure. Because basketball is my sport. I stopped doing it. I'm like, why am I so sad all the time? Why I have so much built up anxiety? It's because I didn't use my hobbies to my advantage to help alleviate my anxiety. And then I'm back on it. Do the hobbies you want on the side. Really help. Really help you do some great things. And working out is a habit that all of us should have because it improves mental clarity and it improves not just how you look, but also your disciplined mentality and also whatever you do like work goals and stuff. You're gonna transfer that energy there.
But physical activity is more important than a lot of people realize. There are people that I know just don't like physical activity,
I don't like it. I
and
just don't like it.
I mean,
I don't get it.
it is completely up to them. But you're going to be living a happier, healthier lifestyle. You're going to feel better, more confident about yourself to do the things that you've always wanted to do. Because sports, it does put you in uncomfortable situations. Anything new, really. But I
Physically and
feel,
socially, yeah.
yeah, I feel for the people who don't enjoy physical activity, try all of them and see if there's one you like at least. It could just be running 15 minutes of the day or walking for an hour.
Yeah.
But
Walking your
physical
dog.
physical activity
Simple
is
stuff.
essential to success. There's no
And
doubt about it.
yeah, and we're not just saying this, like it's been proven. And the thing is, above all, like, yeah, of course, like your mentality and all of that's important, but above all, when you exercise, it just helps your overall health, you know?
Hmm.
And health is wealth, and that's not a joke. If you're not healthy, forget being productive, you can't be productive. You got to be in the right state, and exercise is a big part of that. It helps you, stay healthy, right? And it helps you every single day, improve your motivation, your mentality, your daily routines, just your
It
general well-being.
it forces you to stay hydrated to perform at optimal level. It gets rid of the toxins in your body when you sweat. You're getting rid of the bad stuff in your body. Your everything stress level goes way down because you're not thinking about anything else except getting your
You're in the
whatever
moment.
yeah, you're in the moment. It just relieves you of a lot of things. It's an outlet, as artist said.
Yeah, outlet for anything.
But yeah.
Sure. What
um,
else
And
can you think of?
that's why schools do, sports and like like curricular activities. And another thing, right? I know a lot of people, I'm assuming you guys do, like nobody really likes PE, right? But if you really take a look at it, you can see where schools are coming from, you
yeah, yeah.
know? It does probably help students. Except for the people that, walked the mile. I don't know what they're doing, but we're not going to talk about them, right? But
What, 30% of the American population is obese?
Oh, it didn't work.
30%.
I mean, they're
That's
trying.
30. And there's 300, over 300 million people who live in the US, which, I mean, compared to India is not that much because India's got a billion people. But still, 30% of
It's a lot.
300 million, that's a lot of people. And I'm yeah, it's,
Eating habits are kind of what you
eating
gotta fix.
eating, oh my gosh. Eating ruins
That's the
productivity.
biggest part of like obesity. Like, if we just change our food, like I'm telling you, like the obesity rate is gonna it's gonna drop a
Yeah.
lot, a
But
lot.
yeah,
We could discuss the food industry next podcast.
That's a good topic right there.
There's a lot of things in the food industry that is just
yeah. I
stuff.
just want to, touch like really briefly on that. Like you said, we can get into that next time, right?
Hmm.
But like it's just you got to think about it. It's a lot of it is mental too.
Hmm.
Because those people, they like just as sports you said is your escape,
Yeah,
their
yeah,
escape is food.
yeah,
So yeah, we can get all into that like next time. But like yeah, it's a lot more mental than you would think it is.
yeah.
Feel me?
It's
There's some
hard.
addictions like that are good and they're bad to some extent. Um, you don't want to be addicted to heroin or any hardcore drugs. You don't want to be addicted to food because
Mm.
that's just an outlet that if you're
Yeah.
feeling stressed. And most of these addictions come from something missing in your life or something that's gone wrong, and you don't want to deal with it.
Or
You're
you,
avoiding something.
yeah, you're just not satisfied with what's happened in your life, and you're not really just facing it
Yeah,
square up. You're avoiding it, which is not that takes a huge mental toll on you. So
for sure.
yeah.
And if you really want to maximize your productivity and you maximize how good how how you feel throughout the day, you gotta tackle the problems in your life. You
Take
can't avoid them.
control of your life.
Take control. Whether that means going to therapy, whether that means talking to any other professional, you need to take action. That's the big thing. Don't overthink it. Just take the action. If it works, cool. If it doesn't, then you learn something. That's
Well,
the kind of mentality you gotta have when it comes to life in general. You gotta try things.
We need to go more in depth on mental health too
yeah, yeah,
sometime.
well, yeah. We just came up with a couple more ideas for the next couple of podcasts, so I think it's
That's
pretty good.
smart.
But what are the three main things we talked about? The main one first is sleep.
Sleep is the biggest, I think,
Sleep.
biggest
That was the biggest
thing
one.
there.
Was the second one distractions? I know that was one, but I'm not sure if it was second.
Yeah, distractions.
I would combine distractions and keeping a good schedule and sleeps and
Time
just
management.
time management and managing your distractions at the end of the
Procrastination.
day, hopefully, not at the beginning or during.
So it was
That's one
sleep,
thing.
sleep, time management. What else? Let's check.
Your diet, and then
Diet. Yeah.
I'd even add a fourth, just having relaxing hobbies, like just having a way to de-stress.
De-stress, exercise, physical activity,
Yeah,
hobbies, whatever.
for sure.
Yeah.
So that's our top four right now.
So the four things that we discussed today, this was completely random. Um, we came up with all this stuff as we went. We made sure we check online to make sure all these things are correct. We did tackle a lot of things, and
Yeah,
I think we did a great job, guys. That was good.
very productive podcast right here.
That was
Exactly, exactly.
Speaking some facts here.
Yeah.
Well, that will conclude today's episode. Thank you for everyone who listened in. Wherever you have viewed our podcast from, we're your hosts,
Arda.
On.
and Al. Have a great rest of your day.
See you
Peace
guys.
out, boys.